First off, I just want to go ahead and say that Jurassic World is over 10 years old. Take that for what you will. I said I'm going to change up my cryptic content, and I am. So the no better spot to start to me than to continue on with the little series I had where I went over all of the dinosaurs in the Jurassic Park novels and the Jurassic Park movies. Now, I would like to continue on with Jurassic World. We'll see how this video does. But if you guys like it, you gotta let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know what other creatures do you guys want me to see. I plan on doing this one. I think the next one I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start kind of like maybe going over the graboids from Tremors. That's one of my favorite movies. I know it's been done to hell, but it's a good spot to start. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Let me know if you want to see the rest of the Jurassic World movies from here going forward. See if I can get those done, and let me know anything that you would like to see. Also, guys, trying to hit more subscribers. I'd love to hit 2,000 by the end of the year. If you could help me with that, be greatly appreciated. Don't really see why we can't do it. It's just gonna take some help from you guys. So let's get into this. The first dinosaur we see in this movie is the freaking Indominus Rex, because they went hard right out the gate. So we see two of them hatching from their eggs. We find out later on that one of them ate the other when Claire brings Mr. Ronnie to see it in its enclosure, where it has been trying to break out, and we see her moving from the trees, but we find out that it can sense thermal radiation like snakes can. The next time we see her is when Claire brings Owen to inspect her paddock. That is when we see that to escape, the Indominus scratched up a wall. Then, using her tree frog DNA, lowered her body temperature so she wouldn't be seen on thermal. Then, using her camouflage ability, she basically hid. All of this was so she could escape when they opened the gate, where we see her chase Owen and the other workers and escape through the paddock door, where she then starts to wander around, eats the worker that opened the door, and then looks for Owen under a car. But he was smart enough to cover himself in gas to mask his scent. Not being able to see or smell him, the Indominus wanders off into the forest. When the ACU goes to hunt her, the Indominus, we learn she clawed out her tracker and actually set a trap for them, revealing her camouflage ability, then basically proceeding to massacre the ACU. Side note here for all my veterans out there that are watching, whenever I was in, ACU stands for Army Combat Uniform, and it's just really funny that the thing that we just named our uniforms, their whole organization there, the protects the island, is just named after that. But anyway, after this, we see the Indominus attack and kill an Ankylosaurus before attacking the gyrosphere the boys are in. They manage to escape and jump over a waterfall where we see it roaring at them before they wander off. Unfortunately, the boys driving the Jeep away managed to actually draw the Indominus back to them and their location, since it managed to find the shed that the Jeep was in when Owen and Claire actually managed to find the shed. Basically cornering them in the shed, it can't get to them, but it does manage to actually jump scare them through the roof. They then run off to the old visitor center where the Indominus follows them, basically kind of treading all over the original Jurassic Park ending, before running from the helicopter piloted by Mr. Ronnie and ultimately busting through the wall of the aviary, roaring at a bunch of pterodons and dimorphodons before they escape. We meet up with her later on when the raptor pack tracks her down. She reveals she's part raptor, becomes their alpha, and sixths them on the soldiers. She stays for a little while, but is ultimately hit by a rocket launcher and leaves. The next time we see her is on Main Street, where she tries to make the raptors attack Owen, Claire, and the boys, but Blue refuses, and she hits her away with her tail. She is then attacked by the other two raptors and Owen. She ultimately ends up killing the other two raptors during the fight and trapping Owen and the boys in a building. After this, she confronts Rexy, and the two of them fight. She actually almost ended up killing her until Blue, the Velociraptor, reveals that she is alive and attacks her, saving Rexy, and the three of them fight to near the Mosasaurus pool, where the Mosasaur jumps out of the water and ultimately kills the Indominus. They basically just ran with it. Here's our new dinosaur, we're putting it right out front. But after that, the next dinosaur we see is actually the Apatosaurus. So it's technically originally seen as a hologram, but since we see the real ones later, I'm going to go ahead and put it in, and it's an Apatosaurus in the visitor center. We also see some on a hologram globe showing where they used to live in the world. Next, we see a herd of them in a creek with kayakers and a couple of Stegosaurus. A baby Apatosaurus is in the Jurassic petting zoo. We even see kids feeding it dinosaur food. Several adult Apatosaurs are seen during the gyrosphere scene in a field and running when the sphere startles them. Owen and Claire would find an entire herd of them that had been slaughtered by the Indominus Rex, finding just one of them alive, but on the brink of death. The next dinosaurs we see are actually the Ankylosaurus, and following the hologram logic, we see Ankylosaurus walking in a hologram where they used to live in prehistoric time. Also, here's where I'm going to put in this little rule. I'm going to count holograms and videos of actual people with dinosaurs, but I'm not going to include just pictures on screens. Like, things have to be moving and or seen with real people next to it, physically interacting with the things. So the hybrids we see later on in this movie, they're not going to count, at least not for this video. I'll give them their own video eventually because I can just do them more justice that way. But the next time we see the Ankylosaurus is when a herd of them is grazing in the woods. They're attacked by the Indominus, and like I said before, it basically doesn't end well for the Ankylosaur. But after them, the next dinosaur we see is a Parasaurolophus. We see a hologram of one back at the visitor center, and the next time we see this species is actually in the Jurassic petting zoo with other baby dinosaurs, although this one is in the background. And several adult apatosaurs are seen during the gyrosphere scene in a field and running when the sphere startles in. So we do get a glimpse of a Pachycephalosaurus being worked on by the dinosaur vets when Claire is asking for a progress report. Apparently they short out their chips whenever they butt heads because they can't make chips strong enough to withstand the impact of them hitting whenever they ram each other. And I've actually just noticed this now. This one is slightly bigger than the ones we see in the Lost World, because those ones were like less than human sized. This one, there's several adult, or there's at least 3 adult humans standing around it. I guess the ones we saw in the Lost World were just, babies. But after the Packies, we finally get the Velociraptors, and we first see them when the 4 of them are going through training in their paddock, trying to catch a pig. They basically get stopped by Owen, and he starts doing target training with them. This almost goes wrong though when a new coworker tries to stop one of the pigs that escaped instead of just letting the raptors eat it, and he's dragged into the paddock, thus making it where Owen has to go in and save him, and we get this really cool scene right here. The fun part here being though is we do see that though the raptors listen to him, as soon as he turns their back, they instantly attack the cage. So they sort of proves this point to Hopkins that you can't control the dinosaurs, it's just a working relationship they have. He gives them food so they don't kill him, but if he turns his back on them, he then becomes the food. And as long as you understand that, you can kind of interact with the dinosaurs. This also explains why Owen is very hesitant to actually look at Blue as of a thinking, feeling thing. So that this kind of sets that up for the rest of the series. So when we see them again, Blue has her head in an examination location, and it turns out they really don't like Hotskins. All 4 of the raptors are in the same location, getting the live stream cameras put on their heads, and they're in the same location when Owen is inspecting them, preparing to hunt the Indominus. But they are then set loose and race Owen on a motorcycle through the woods while hunting the Indominus Rex, who they end up finding, but since it's part raptor, it becomes their new alpha and has them attack everyone. During the massacre, one of them is actually killed by a rocket launcher, and Blue chooses not to kill Owen's partner. Another one of the raptors turns up in Wu's lab and ends up killing Hotchkiss. Then, chasing Owen, Claire, and the boys out onto the street into a trap set by the other 2 raptors. With the humans surrounded, Owen manages to take the video camera off of Blue, who is not attacking him. Then, when the Indominus shows up, she refuses to attack, and the raptors fight the Indominus, with 2 of them being killed during the fight. Then, like I already covered, Blue comes back in the end to save Rexy. They fight the Indominus, push her back near the Mosasaur pool, and the Indominus is killed by the Mosasaur. After this, Blue and Rexy sort of have an understanding, and the 2 of them run off their separate ways, but Rexy does look back at Owen kind of for permission. But after the Velociraptors, the next dinosaur we see is actually the Stegosaurus. Like I said before, there's 2 of them in a creek with the kayakers, and the next time we see the Stegosaurus is also in the Jurassic petting zoo because there's a baby one there, and they are running next to the gyrosphere in this whole scene. Along with Stegosaurus in this scene though, we have Triceratops, and we see a baby Triceratops being ridden in the Jurassic petting zoo with other baby dinosaurs, and adult Triceratops is actually the first dinosaur we see in this whole scene, with one kind of laying down and being lazy, but I think this one standing up and stuff is almost what triggers the big stampede. After the Triceratops though, we see the Gallimimus, and we see a bunch of baby ones in the Jurassic petting zoo, and a herd of them can be seen running next to a safari truck. Next dinosaur though after the Gallimimus is the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and we first see Rexy when she is being called to eat a goat in the T-Rex kingdom. The next time we see her is when Claire lets her out of her paddock to fight against the Indominus Rex. She actually almost loses until Blue wakes up and attacks the Indominus with her. They all fight. Mosasaur kills the Indominus. Same story 3 different times. But after her and Blue's moment, she walks off. The last time we see her is actually when she's standing on the helipad, roaring over the island, finally once again claiming it as her own domain. So I know she's not technically a dinosaur, but we do see the mosasaur for the first time when she's being fed a great white shark during the whole show. After that, the entire platform is lowered so people can see her swim under the water and actually eat the shark under there. She then would pop out of the water to eat Claire's secretary and the pterodon, and the final time we see her is when she jumps out to kill the Indominus Rex. But that leads us great into the next dinosaur we see throughout there, which is the pteranodon. And we first see them with the Indominus Rex breaks into their aviary, where they escape, crash a helicopter, and then go off to Main Street, attacking all of the guests with a couple of notable actions being, of course, clearly feeding Claire's secretary to the mosasaur, and almost spearing the boys. Along with them is the Dimorphodons, because they shared the same area, and it's pretty much the same story as the Pteranodons, but one of them is shot and killed by Claire before she is actually kissed by Owen Grady. And I don't think this was actually scripted. I think, fun fact, that was actually a surprise, and she didn't know that that was going to happen. But here, I do have a couple of honorable mentions that I want to go over. We see a Dilophosaurus hologram in the visitor center. I don't want to bring it up here because we don't see any actual creatures, but we do see one. It's life size, and it stops the raptor just long enough for the main cast to get away. And finally, we get like a really old picture of a T-Rex fighting a Triceratops in a viewfinder. They're not real, and it's a picture. I just thought it was fun to include because I just think it's fun that they actually have this photo. That is it. Once again, that's every dinosaur that we see in Jurassic World. If you guys want to see me do Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, please leave that in the comments down below or show your love by hitting that like button. While you guys are down there, also remember to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video.